Good evening. We're back with more Marvel Champions, and this evening we'll be playing Nebula versus Loki on Expert difficulty. No campaign cards, playing standalone, and the purpose is to evaluate Nebula. See what we think of her, and we'll be playing a Leadership Nebula deck. So let's get everything set up. Got our Infinity Stones deck. And we need one of the Infinity Stones. Well, I like Power in All of Us, Avengers Mansion. We could try keeping this hand. So we got this set up. On Expert difficulty, we need to defeat 3 Lokis. So let's go ahead and play Power in All of Us, Innovation. No, first let's go Innovation for Evasive Maneuvering. So when we play a technique, we can draw 2 cards. That's good. Strength and Power in All of Us for Avengers Mansion. Draw a card. Use Combat Ready while we're in Alter Ego. Discard until we discard a technique upgrade. Put it into play. Resolve its special 4 damage to an enemy. And then we'll use Welcome Aboard for Unyielding Persistence. So Nebula's got the ability to ignore guard, patrol, crisis, retaliate 1, and attack and thwart +1. If I flip to hero form, I can take advantage of those things now. I'll lose access to them beginning of my next round when all of these specials will go off. If I don't flip to hero form though, then Loki will get to scheme for 3. So it'll go +2 will be 3, at least 6 on All Hail King Loki. I can't stay in Alter Ego form for more than 1 round, and there's no reason to do so when I don't know if I'm going to draw anything beneficial. So we'll switch to hero form. Will thwart for 3. And then we'll draw 4. So there's Lethal Intent. Costing 3 to resolve all these specials. The specials are good. I don't know if they're worth 3. So like 3 plus the card and I'd get 4, a tough, and a stun. Yeah, that's not bad. So if I had stayed in Alter Ego, I could have used that. Anyway, for the hero turn, 2 threat, Infinity Stone. You are confused. And then we've got an attack from Loki. We'll face tank it, so it's for 4. And then 1 encounter card. Nebula's pretty squishy. Casket of Ancient Winters. Okay, so on to the hero phase, and after your turn begins, we resolve our specials. So we get a stun or a confuse. We get 4 damage. And Nebula gets a tough status card. Okay, well, we'll go Welcome Aboard to reduce the cost of Drax down to 1. Well, first let's draw a card. Okay, White Tiger. So we can use Welcome Aboard, Power of Leadership for White Tiger, and draw 2. Actually, just draw 1 card. This is only phase stage 1. You can go Power of Leadership and Drax for Hawkeye. And we can use Nebula to remove this this confuse. We're going to need her thwarting ability. Then we'll go 1, 2, 3. Work on War and get Asgard, and then we'll draw 4. So 2 threat, remove stun, reveal Infinity Stone, and 1 encounter card, which is Loki's Cape. I forgot about Loki's Retaliate. How did he get down to 20? Oh no, it was doing the special actions. So were those actually attacks? Yeah, those were attacks, so I should take 2 damage from the Retaliate. Okay. So for the hero phase, we're probably going to have to go to Alter Ego. Let's draw a card. Problem is there's so much threat out. So I'll have to do something about that. Go Lethal Intent and Rocket for Nebula's ship. Use that for Cutthroat Ambition. Another Lethal Intent for Cutthroat Ambition. Go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Get rid of this threat. Retire White Tiger. And then we'll flip to Alter Ego and draw 6. I should have waited to play one of the Cutthroat Ambitions until after I flipped to Alter Ego. Then I could draw 2 cards. And could use Stinger as well. Get rid of War on Asgard, which reveals another Infinity Stone. Then we can draw 6. So 1 threat and 2 Reality Stones. We'll discard Stinger. And we gotta discard until a minion is discarded. Frost Giant. And Loki's gonna scheme for 3, 4, 5. Frost Giant for 1, and 1 encounter card, which is Madness on Midgard. Okay, that's a lot of threat out there. So we could go Lethal Intent. If we spend 2 resources, we could get... So you don't need the... Doesn't say Hero Thwart, so you could be an Alter Ego and do this, right? We'll go play Wide Stance. Draw a card. Heal. Wide Stance will draw 2 cards thanks to Alter Ego ability. Root for Weapons Master. Let's go Lethal Intent for 1, 2, 3, 4. So we can use all of these. Remove 3 threat, 3 threat. It's gonna reveal an Infinity Stone and swap Loki for another Loki. You cannot take damage while a side scheme is in play. Okay. So we removed 6 threat. We've got, look at the top 3 of the encounter deck, discard 1, put the others back in any order. Get rid of the assault. That order is fine, I think. And finally, we have deal 4 damage to an enemy. The problem is, so Hawkeye should have used a counter on that toughness. But the... Oh, 4 damage, that's perfect for the Frost Giant. Okay. That was decent. And I flip back to hero form here. Or else I'm probably going to lose. Probably going to threat out if I don't. Actually, the boost should have given +1 additional threat last turn. Then we'll draw 4. So 1 threat. 1 Infinity Stone. Heal 3 damage. Give a boost card. And 1 attack on Hawkeye. Then 1 encounter card. Exhaust your identity and surge. Shadow of the Past. Brings in Gamora. Gamora is also her hero-specific ally. When this minion would enter play, discard the Gamora ally from play. After Gamora attacks and damages you, choose and discard an upgrade you control. Which is pretty formidable. Onto the hero phase, so we're resolving our specials. So we got remove 3 threat, get rid of self-preservation, remove 3 threat. Look at the top 3 of the encounter deck. Definitely get rid of Under Fire. Lao Fei. We don't really want Lao Fei to be revealed. We also don't want him to be a boost card, but I think he's a little bit less difficult to deal with as a boost card, so we'll just leave him on top. Then we have 4 damage from Weapons Master. So we definitely need, we have 2 versions of Gamora in hand that we can't deal with. We'll draw a card. We'll go Nebula's ship for wide stance. We can welcome aboard for Martinex. But I'm 1 damage short of being able to kill Gamora. I can't really remove enough threat to safely switch to Alter Ego. If I thwart here, be at 5. +1 would be 6. +3, +1 boost. It's really close. I may have to. Well, we'll just have Martinex block, so we're not going to thwart. We'll do 1 damage to Gamora. Unfortunately, she's going to get an attack off. But there's nothing I can do about that. We'll discard this Gamora and we'll draw 3. So 1 threat, 1 Infinity Stone, 1 attack. We'll put the attack on Nebula. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's 1, 2, -1. And then we'll have Gamora attack Martinex. Then we have 2 encounter cards coming. Actually, it's +1 damage because of Casket. Lao Fei. I thought I arranged that so it wouldn't come up. Did I do it wrong? Enchantress. When revealed, search the encounter deck, discard pile, and set aside area for a copy of Seduced. Oof. Okay, and after those encounter cards, now we're on to the hero phase, so we can go... What can we actually do here? Draw a card. Use Maria Hill to draw a card. Use her to deal with Gamora. I don't think I'm going to survive this turn. 1, 2, 3 for Mockingbird and get a stun on Loki. Try to reduce some of this threat. Oh, I should have procced Wide Stance at the beginning of the turn. So top 3 of the encounter deck. Definitely don't want Loki scheming. Also don't want a second attack though, so let's arrange them this way. Maybe that's what went wrong last time, I don't know. Anyway, I cannot flip to Alter Ego, I'll lose. Also can't stay in hero form because I'll lose. So yeah, there's no way around it. This is a loss. Because the scheme, move stun, time stone goes off. Got upgrade, upgrade, ally, ally. It's not that bad. Lao Fei attacks for 4. Put that on Maria Hill. Enchantress for 1. Nebula can face tank that. And 1 encounter card. Well, we survive. I wanted that to be a boost card. I did that incorrectly. Let's pretend that I didn't do that incorrectly. And it's actually Loki's crown. Just to see what would happen. And we're into the hero phase. We'll draw a card. Go 1, 2, 3 for Gamora. Except I don't have any techniques to be able to take advantage of her. Let's try getting rid of some of this threat. And flipping to Alter Ego using Combat Ready. Found Wide Stance. Look at the top 3 cards of the encounter deck. I want to advance on top as the boost card. And we'll have Infinite Mischief be the revealed card. After you play a technique upgrade, I didn't play that. It was put into play. There is a difference. We'll go Gamora. Resolve the special again. Though it's going to be less impactful this time. Just get rid of the Frost Giant. And leave this the same. And then we'll draw 4. Yeah, but the problem here is that we don't survive this scheme. Because 1 threat, Loki schemes for 1, 2, 3, 4. And Enchantress and Lao Fei for 2 each. So here's the issue with Nebula against Loki, at least on Expert, is that Loki ramps as the game goes along. He gains his attachments and side quests, but mainly the attachments give him additional abilities as the game goes along, and he's got a bunch of them. And Nebula doesn't ramp at all. She stays exactly the same. And so as her health gets whittled down, we're forced to flip to alter ego, and then we take on threat that we don't have the way to deal with, or we take on enemies or whatever. So she just doesn't really have the ability to gain power beyond Nebula's ship. And she's fun and interesting. A couple of changes I would like to see to make her better. I would like if... Well, first of all, I would like combat ready to work in hero form. That would make the hero much more playable in solo, because we really never want to switch to alter ego in solo. So pretty much every hero that's forced to switch to alter ego in order to make the most of that hero isn't going to be that good in solo. Maybe in multiplayer too, on high difficulties. I think my experience has been you can get away with alter ego more often on multiplayer, because you can have one player flip to alter ego and then one player be in hero form, and then you're taking on one turn's worth of threat, but you have double the threat to work with before the scheme is completed. I haven't played multiplayer that much, but I have played it a few times, and my experience is that you can get away with flipping to alter ego more often in multiplayer. So heroes that have to flip to alter ego in order to take full advantage of them, and I think Nebula is one of those heroes. Heroes that have to do that aren't going to be that good in solo, where it's just you. And like, there's a lot of quests like Draying, for example, playing on expert or heroic. If you flip to alter ego even one time, you may just lose, because 2 threat goes on the quest per round. And if the villain draws an advance, so if he like advances the quest once with a double boost or a triple boost, and then the encounter card is an advance, and in phase 2 he schemes again, then you just lose. Like a single time flipping to alter ego. Now that is Galaxy's Most Wanted, and those quests are brutally difficult. Those scenarios are brutally difficult. But my experience with flipping to alter ego is that, well, you only get 3 recovery. That's not very efficient, and generally it's an emergency play only. It's like, I'm gonna lose if I don't do this, so I'll do this and I'll hope for the best, but it's not what you want to be doing. And I don't think that Nebula's alter ego abilities are so good that they make up for the downside in alter ego, which is that threat builds up against you, enemies build up on the board. So pretty much any hero that requires you to flip to alter ego in order to take full advantage of that hero's abilities just isn't going to be very good in solo. We want to be in hero form pretty much all of the time, if possible. So Loki, probably on expert difficulty, probably a challenge that is a bit beyond Nebula. So we'll test her against Ebony Maw next and see how that goes. Okay, we got Ebony Maw set up once again on expert difficulty. I do enjoy the like technique mechanic. I'll get rid of Groot. Would love to keep Avengers Mansion. It's one of the only ways to gain more power that's any good that Nebula can take advantage of. There are others, but the basic or aspect cards that allow you to gain more power, they tend to be inefficient or tough to set up. Avengers Mansion is no exception, but when you get the opportunity to do it efficiently, it's good, especially early game. We gotta discard until we find 2 spells. So by comparison, this was a scenario that Protection Iron Man absolutely demolished with his ability to ramp up fairly quickly. And I think this is very beatable by a wide variety of heroes. So we'll see how Nebula does here. We can go 1, 2, 3, 4 for Avengers Mansion. Draw a card, and we'll use that card to pay for, I think, Unyielding Presence, which will draw 2 cards. We can use Gamora and Wide Stance to get out Nebula's ship. That's a decent ramp turn. We got the 2 ramp cards that are in the deck out right away. Flip to Nebula and deal 3 damage. And draw 5. So off to a good start. 1 threat, invocate, and attack. Nebula's not a hero where we really need her basic ability, so I think we can defend here. So she takes 2 damage, and we got 1 encounter card coming. Rubble Storm, that's going to surge. Outrider, discard 1 random card. Would have rather discarded one of these combat readies. I wanted that welcome aboard. For the hero phase, let's go ahead and resolve the Unyielding Persistence. Give Nebula a tough status card. Use Avengers Mansion. We'll use Nebula's ship. Power of Leadership. Combat ready for Gamora. We'll use Gamora to attack for 2. And discard till we find an event. That may not be that good in this deck. I don't think I have that many events. Yeah, I regret doing this. Welcome aboard. Can we afford to flip to Alter Ego here? There's only 2 threat on the scheme. Oh no, I didn't want to do 2 damage to Ebony Maw. I forgot this Outrider existed. I wanted to do 2 damage to that. But Ebony Maw schemes for 2. There's going to be 1 on the thing, so we only need a boost of 1 to advance the quest unless we could remove some of the threat, which I could have done if I was willing to face take damage. But Nebula is kind of squishy. Let's chuck Lethal Intent, and let's grab 3 more cards. I'm loath to throw away Combat Ready. It's one of her best cards, but I have to go to Alter Ego to use it. 1 threat, invocate, attack. Let's face tank it this time, so we can try to remove some of the threat and then move to Alter Ego. It's 4 damage. And then 1 encounter card, which is Black Dwarf. So, let's draw a card. Let's use Welcome Aboard and Welcome Aboard to pay for Mockingbird. Get a stun. Let's use Nebula to thwart. Use Mockingbird to thwart. Use Gamora for damage. Let's flip to Alter Ego, use Nebula's ship to generate a resource for Weapons Master. Draw 2 cards. We'll use Combat Ready to go looking for another technique. And we'll use Innovation to get out Stinger, heal a damage from Gamora. Put another damage on Black Dwarf, and then we'll draw 5. And that cycles through the deck, so an additional encounter card is coming. We got 1 threat. We got Invocate. It's going to be 2 damage to each character. Ouch, that hurts a lot. And then we got a Scheme for 3. Plus 1 for Black Dwarf. And 2 encounter cards. It's a Surge. Manipulation Surges. Shadows of the Past, ouch. And then another encounter card, which is Agent of Thanos. Place 1 threat on the main scheme for each spell. 1, 2, 3, that's going to advance the scheme. Which means discarding until another spell is discarded. And then we're on to the hero phase. We have to recover. Draw a card. Okay, so we can get out, let's see, White Tiger and draw 2 cards. Let's get out Weapons Master. Let's get out... Oh, let's go ahead and pay for 1, 2, 3. Let's go. Nebula's ship for 1, 2, 3. Oh, I do get to draw 2 cards though, so hang on. Draw 2 cards for playing Weapons Master. And we can go... Alright. Yeah, this was correct with the Avengers Mansion. I only need 1 lethal intent, so I'll play a wide stance. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I want a lethal intent for 1, 2, 3, 4. So we can proc all of these. 4 damage to an enemy. That'll get rid of the Black Dwarf. Stunner, confuse. Okay. 4 damage to an enemy. Look at the top 3. Discard 1. Top 3. Whoops. Let's get rid of Under Fire. Would I rather have the boss scheme or attack? Probably scheme. So we'll do that. Okay, now we can flip to hero form. Use White Tiger. Yeah, we actually don't need the stun on Gamora. We'll do the confuse on Ebony Maw. Use White Tiger for 2 damage. That was a pretty strong turn. Lethal Intent is a strong card. You can have a very strong turn out of Alter Ego. It's just hard to get away with it more than once because we paid for it by moving from 1B to 2B. Without having a confuse on the boss, it's very difficult to get away with flipping to Alter Ego without consequences. Let's go ahead and draw 4. And after playing Iron Man for a few games, it's hard to go back to hand size 5. 7 is so OP. So 1 threat, remove stun, invocate, which means 4 damage to your identity. Rubble Storm, deal 2 damage to each character you control. That's going to end the game. Unfortunately. Yeah. Well, the issue in this one is that Nebula is squishy. Only 9 HP. She doesn't have the ability to heal. So if we played like Protection, would it be any better? With the energy barriers? It's possible. That's how we get by with Iron Man, but Iron Man also has his Mark V armor. So the energy barrier plus the Mark V armor plus the rocket boots gives him the HP to get through scenarios. Nebula doesn't have those cards in her kit. So even with the energy barriers, would that still be better than leadership? It's debatable. It's the direct damage that killed us. Lost numerous allies and White Tiger, so I think Nebula is just, my assessment of her from the hero pack, I think is correct, at least for solo. So I would really only recommend this hero for fun or thematic reasons, and she is fun to play. So if you want to play like a Nebula Gamora setup, it's fun. It'll be fun. But just don't expect it to be like the powerful setup that you use for difficult expert scenarios or heroic scenarios. That is my opinion. So, thank you for watching.